Hey guys, what is up? Today it is time to get canceled once again, because that's just me. So today I'm going to be highlighting a video from good old Matt Walsh. Now Matt Walsh is one of my favorite commentators, one of my favorite activists who is fighting the good fight, pumping out truth, and staring the gender ideology, social justice warriors in the face and saying, I don't give a crap what you think. This is not okay. I came across this video that I wanted to highlight that I think is so important. So important to highlight because it really shines a light on the real agenda from Big Pharma and why there's such a push about gender ideology and transgenderism and what I call the contagion effect of transgenderism, where you have all of these kids that now want to be transgendered but aren't really sure what that even means. Matt Walsh highlights a doctor from a facility called Vanderbilt, and this doctor is speaking to other doctors and she is talking about the financial advantages of gender affirming surgeries on people. So top surgery, bottom surgery, facial reconstruction surgery, hormone therapy, follow-up visits, all of that good stuff. And the way that she's talking about the benefits of these procedures and these surgeries, it's really disheartening. So take a look at this clip and then I will come back with some final thoughts.
Now, the media has frantically insisted that we have to stop scrutinizing the medical establishment in this way. Even if hospitals are sterilizing and butchering children, the media says we must not offer any critique, because if we do, we're guilty of incitement and even terrorism. But I've never personally been very good at following orders, especially when those orders are delivered by the soulless goblins in the national media. So in 2018, Vanderbilt opened its Transgender Health Center. There was an article published in the Tennessean at the time that announced the new clinic, quoting its medical director, Dr. Shane Taylor, who said that the goal was to, quote, meet our patients where they are in their journey and help them with the resources they need. Dr. Taylor was a bit more detailed in explaining the hospital's actual motivations for expanding into quote-unquote transgender care.
In October of 2016, started a couple of years ago, put down some costs of how much money we think each patient would bring in. And this is only including top surgery. This isn't including any bottom surgery. And it's a lot of money. These surgeries make a lot of money. So female to male chest reconstruction can bring in $40,000. A patient just on routine hormone treatment, who I'm only seeing a few times a year, can bring in several $1,000s. That requires a lot of visits and labs. It actually makes money for the hospital. And I just want to give you an idea of how much these bottom surgeries are making. And I think this has to be an underestimate. This is for a vaginoplasty. They're quoting roughly around $20,000 for a vaginoplasty, but that doesn't include your hospital stay, that doesn't include your post-op visits, that doesn't include your anesthesia, your OR. So I would think that this has to be a gross underestimate. I think that's just like the surgeon's piece of it, which anybody who's ever been in the hospital knows that that's like 10% of it. And then the female to male bottom surgeries, these are huge money makers. Again, I think this has to be an underestimate, that they're quoting around $20,000 for a phalloplasty. There's been different things that I've read that said it could be up to $100,000. Dr. Winokur, who's our surgeon, says that there's entire clinics where the entire clinic is supported just by their phalloplasties, and that is like a fraction of the surgeries that they're doing. These surgeries are labor intensive, they require a lot of follow-ups, they require a lot of OR time, and they make money. They make money for the hospital.
And you know what's so sad about this is that when you're dealing with transgenderism, you're only dealing with the surface of the problem when you have top surgery or you have bottom surgery or you have any surgery at that, right? Because if you look at the statistics, many transitioners or people who have transitioned post-op surgery years later are still dealing with depression, high anxiety, and suicide rates that are just so much higher than any other demographic. And it doesn't really make much sense when you think about it, because being transgendered in today's society is a plus, right? I mean, everybody defends you. It's extremely inclusive in almost every single area and every single space. You have to make room for transgender people, and if you speak out against transgender people or you misgender somebody or you say anything that could be offensive, you get canceled, you could lose your job, you could lose your livelihood. You have medical professionals who maybe don't agree, who are losing their license. Like, to be transgendered is almost a privilege in today's society because you are so protected. So when you take that into consideration and then you look at the rates of suicide and depression and mental illness, it doesn't make any sense, right? Because shouldn't you be the happiest person after transitioning, in theory? But you're not. My theory is the reason why these people are still highly depressed and are dealing with mental anguish is because you're only dealing with the surface of the problem. You're not dealing with the actual emotional scars. You're not dealing with the mental issues that a person may have from having gender dysphoria. You're not dealing with any of that. You're just putting a band-aid on and you're saying, let me give you some surgery, let me give you some hormones, and in return, you're going to pay me money and you're going to be happy for the rest of your life. And that's not the case for a lot of people, which is why there are so many detransitioners that are now coming out and speaking their story and speaking their truth.
My name is Chloe Cole, and I am an 18-year-old former transgender child. I transitioned from the age of 12 up until 16 when I realized it all was a lie. My story is a cautionary tale. Children and parents across the country have been caught off guard by gender ideology.
We're not seeing CNN or MSNBC or mainstream media really giving any light to people who are detransitioning, who say, I made a huge mistake when I was a kid. When I was 15, 16 years old, I had my breast taken off and now I regret it. I was on hormone therapy and now I regret it and I want to go back and I can't now because my body has changed. Like, you're not hearing those stories because that story does not fit the narrative. And Big Pharma doesn't want to hear that story because Big Pharma only cares about the money, the Benjamins, and that's it. And it's just sad. It's really sad because at the end of all of this are people who are being used, pushed up, and propped up for this agenda, this left-wing liberal agenda. And at the end of the day, you have a lot of people that are being psychologically affected by this, making huge decisions that they can't reverse. And once it's done, it's done. And just hearing this doctor and the way that she's speaking as she's going down the list of, and this cost this much money and this cost that much money and we can make this much money. And the fact that it's just about the Benjamins and not about the actual care of these people, mentally, emotionally, physically, it's pretty sickening. It's pretty sickening. But this is the world we live in today, folks. This is USA 2023. It's all about profit, masquerading as healthcare. And it's sad because they're catching people at younger and younger ages. You're seeing kids going on puberty blockers now. I mean, it's starting at a very young age and it stays with them through every stage. And who's getting paid through every stage? Vanderbilt and these doctors. And that's the reality of the situation. It's sad. But I thought it was important to just share this story, share this clip, because it really highlights what's really going on. And in my opinion, the real root to this push to normalize the transgender movement and all of these hormonal therapies and surgeries. It's sad. But enough of that. If you guys enjoy my content, please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit my notification bell so you know when I post a new video. Also follow me on TikTok and on Instagram where I'm constantly posting content every single day about topics just like this. And I'm getting canceled every single day just for you. Until next time, peace.